When you talk about greatness in basketball, the conversation almost always begins with points, scoring titles, game-winning shots, highlight reels. But sometimes, the most influential player on a championship team isn't the one dropping 35. Sometimes it's the one who understands the geometry of the game better than anyone else on the floor. The one who defends the impossible assignment. The one who sacrifices ego so others can shine. And that is where the story of Andre Iguodala truly begins. Andre Iguodala's career was never about chasing noise. It was about mastering nuance. Born in Springfield, Illinois, Iguodala grew up with a mindset shaped by discipline and intelligence. Even as a young athlete, he wasn't just explosive, though he certainly was that. He was analytical. Basketball wasn't just physical competition. It was a strategic ecosystem. Understanding that ecosystem would eventually define his legacy. At Lanphier High School, Iguodala's athleticism was obvious. His length, vertical leap, and lateral quickness made him a natural two-way force. But even then, he wasn't viewed as a can't-miss superstar. He was versatile, raw, and intriguing. That combination led him to the University of Arizona, where he played for the Arizona Wildcats. At Arizona, Iguodala's game expanded beyond athleticism. He developed ball-handling skills unusual for a player his size. He rebounded like a forward, but could initiate offense like a guard. He defended multiple positions before positionless basketball became a mainstream concept. He averaged modest scoring numbers, but his impact metrics were substantial. NBA scouts saw something deeper than stat lines. They saw a connective piece. In the 2004 NBA draft, Iguodala was selected 9th overall by the Philadelphia 76ers. That selection placed him in the shadows of Allen Iverson, one of the most electrifying scorers in league history. For Iguodala, this was both opportunity and challenge. He was thrust into a franchise anchored by a dominant personality and tasked with complementing greatness rather than competing with it. Early in Philadelphia, Iguodala's athletic gifts exploded into visibility. He became a transition terror, finishing above the rim with authority. He earned all-rookie honors and quickly established himself as a perimeter defender capable of guarding elite wings. But as Iverson's tenure ended, Iguodala's role shifted. He wasn't just a secondary piece anymore. He became the focal point. Being a primary option is different from being a complementary one. Expectations change. Defensive attention intensifies. Iguodala averaged over 18 points per game during his peak years in Philadelphia. He earned an All-Star selection in 2012, but something felt misaligned. He was talented enough to lead statistically, yet his natural inclination was orchestration rather than domination. He facilitated. He defended. He rebounded. He elevated teammates. Asking him to be a volume scorer sometimes obscured his greatest strengths. Then came a pivotal transition. In 2012, Iguodala joined the Denver Nuggets as part of a 4-team trade. In Denver, under coach George Karl, Iguodala's efficiency sharpened. He thrived in a fast-paced system, contributing to a 57-win season. The Nuggets were dynamic, deep, and dangerous. Yet, after that season, Iguodala made a decision that would redefine his career. He signed with the Golden State Warriors in 2013. At the time, Golden State was rising but not yet a dynasty. Stephen Curry was ascending. Klay Thompson was emerging. Draymond Green was still developing. Iguodala entered as a veteran presence with all-star credentials. He could have demanded star billing. Instead, he accepted something radical, a reduced role. That decision altered NBA history. When head coach Steve Kerr took over in 2014, the Warriors' offensive philosophy accelerated. Ball movement, spacing, shooting gravity, defensive switching. Iguodala became the connective tissue of it all. In 2015, Kerr made a bold tactical adjustment in the NBA Finals. He inserted Iguodala into the starting lineup, creating the death lineup, a small ball configuration that weaponized versatility. The opponent? Cleveland Cavaliers, led by LeBron James. Iguodala's assignment was monumental: defend LeBron James, perhaps the most physically gifted player in the world. Night after night, Iguodala battled, absorbed contact, contested shots, and made life marginally more difficult for a superstar who thrived on dominance. Offensively, he attacked closeouts, hit timely threes, and facilitated transition. When the Warriors won the 2015 championship, Iguodala was named Finals MVP. It was a controversial selection to some. Curry had spectacular offensive numbers, but Iguodala's impact was structural. He changed the series' trajectory. He altered defensive schemes. He embodied sacrifice. That Finals MVP was symbolic. It represented a new kind of value recognition. Not just scoring, not just box score accumulation, but influence. Over the next several years, Iguodala became synonymous with championship DNA. The Warriors captured additional titles in 2017 and 2018. During those runs, Iguodala often came off the bench. He guarded the opposing team's best perimeter scorer regardless of position. He closed games without ego. He delivered in high-leverage moments. His basketball IQ was surgical. He understood spacing intuitively. He knew when to cut behind sleeping defenders. He read passing lanes like a defensive back. Teammates trusted him implicitly because he prioritized winning over visibility. And yet, Iguodala's story isn't limited to the hardwood. Off the court, he cultivated a reputation as one of the NBA's most intellectually engaged players. He invested in technology startups. He studied venture capital ecosystems. He co-authored The Sixth Man, offering insight into the psychology of role acceptance and long-term strategy. Iguodala viewed career development as portfolio management: diversify skill sets, build equity, anticipate market shifts. In 2019, Golden State's dynasty faced disruption due to injuries and roster changes. Iguodala was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies, a move largely financial in nature. He did not play for Memphis, but was later traded to the Miami Heat, where he contributed veteran leadership during their 2020 Finals run in the Orlando bubble. Even in diminished athletic form, Iguodala's decision-making remained elite. He defended multiple positions. He spaced the floor. He communicated defensive coverages. He became an extension of the coaching staff. In 2021, he returned to Golden State. It was less about physical production and more about continuity. He was the institutional memory of a dynasty. In 2022, when the Warriors won another championship, Iguodala's presence symbolized longevity and adaptability. Few players managed to reinvent themselves across eras. He did. Throughout his career, Iguodala embodied evolution. Early career, explosive wing. Mid-career, primary option. Prime dynasty years, elite role player and defensive specialist. Late career, mentor and strategist. He proved something essential about basketball economics. Value isn't static. It depends on context. In Philadelphia, he was miscast as a leading scorer. In Golden State, he was perfectly cast as a high-leverage utility star. The difference wasn't talent. It was alignment. Defensively, Iguodala's footwork was textbook. He angled ball handlers toward help. He anticipated spin moves. He used length without fouling. Against elite scorers, he didn't seek steals recklessly. He sought disruption. His hands were active, his stance balanced. Advanced metrics consistently ranked him among top wing defenders during his prime. Offensively, he thrived as a secondary playmaker. In transition, he was devastating, pushing pace, reading numbers, finishing with authority. In half-court sets, he cut intelligently. He shot efficiently from the corners. He operated as a short-roll passer in small ball lineups, exploiting defensive rotations. Leadership, however, was his most understated contribution. Young players often struggle with ego recalibration. Iguodala demonstrated that legacy can expand through sacrifice. Accepting a bench role didn't diminish him. It amplified his impact. There is a discipline required to guard superstars repeatedly in playoff series. There is humility required to defer scoring attempts for structural advantage. There is maturity required to mentor rising talents while acknowledging personal physical decline. Iguodala navigated all three. When discussing championship infrastructure, analysts often focus on stars. But dynasties require stabilizers, players who absorb volatility. Iguodala absorbed volatility. When defensive breakdowns occurred, he communicated adjustments. When offensive possession stagnated, he relocated or facilitated. When media narratives intensified, he maintained composure. The Finals MVP trophy in 2015 remains a flashpoint in debates, yet it encapsulates his identity. He wasn't the statistical apex of that series. He was the tactical pivot. As his career concluded, Iguodala left behind a resume that included 4 championships, a Finals MVP, an All-Star selection, 2 All-Defensive Team honors, and an Olympic gold medal from the 2012 Summer Olympics. But the numbers alone don't capture the architecture of his influence. He redefined the sixth man archetype. Traditionally, sixth men are high-volume scorers anchoring second units. Iguodala reimagined the role as a flexible closer, someone who may not start but finishes, someone who toggles between offense and defense based on matchup demands. In a league that often amplifies individual brand building, Iguodala prioritized collective sustainability. That choice required psychological security. Many talented players resist role reduction because identity becomes entangled with usage rate. Iguodala decoupled identity from volume. There's a strategic intelligence in recognizing where you fit best rather than where ego suggests you belong. That intelligence fueled his championships. Young wings entering the NBA today operate in a landscape shaped partly by Golden State's small ball revolution. Switchability, shooting gravity, spacing, these are common lexicon now. Iguodala was one of the early executors of that philosophy. His defensive versatility allowed lineups without traditional centers. His ball handling allowed multi-creator systems. He also understood leverage moments. In elimination games, he rarely forced action. Instead, he made correct reads repeatedly. In Game 6 situations, when adrenaline can distort judgment, Iguodala's steadiness preserved structure. Even beyond playing days, his impact extends into boardrooms and player empowerment discussions. He has advocated for financial literacy among athletes. He has analyzed league business models publicly. His post-playing career trajectory suggests influence beyond sport. Basketball historians may debate rankings and tiers, but within championship ecosystems, Andre Iguodala's value is indisputable. He is proof that winning at the highest level requires more than star power. It requires adaptability. It requires sacrifice. It requires intellectual humility. From Springfield to Philadelphia, from Denver to Golden State, from role player to Finals MVP, Iguodala's journey reflects strategic evolution. He did not cling to outdated versions of himself. He updated. And in doing so, he demonstrated that greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it is measured. Sometimes it is defensive slides and extra passes. Sometimes it is the courage to step back so the system can step forward. Andre Iguodala's career challenges simplistic narratives about stardom. It invites deeper analysis about value creation within team dynamics. It proves that influence can be both subtle and decisive. In a sport defined by movement, he mastered positioning. In a league defined by scoring, he mastered impact. In an era defined by branding, he mastered alignment. That is legacy. Thank you for watching and reflecting on the journey of Andre Iguodala. If you appreciated this in-depth story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful, thoughtful deep dives into the legends who shaped the game.